What is happening, guys? Welcome back to another video. So, got some different camera angles working here, but that's not what this video is about. It's all about sweeping. Now, if you want tabs for this lesson, that is linked down below in the description. You can check out the free guitar course if you want. That's also linked down there. And we're going to talk about 5 essential steps to sweep picking, just the art of sweeping. And we're going to break this down. I'm going to leave it up to you guys if you want a part 2 of this one. We'll kind of expand into some further ideas. But this was actually a friend of my dad's who watches my videos. My dad was talking to me. He's like, yeah, he's working on sweep picking. And I was like, hey, I'm going to do a sweep picking video just for you. And here we are. So I'm going to take my time, go through these, just a couple different areas that I think really can help your sweep picking out. If it's something you're wanting to do, it's an incredibly useful technique. And don't forget, at the end of the video, I'm going to be playing some riffs, jamming out. And I want you guys to jam with me, just solo over it, man. I'm going to lay down some rhythm. I want you guys to jam. This is going to be happening in pretty much all the videos now. So I'll give you a minute or two of me just playing some rhythm. And I'd love for you to grab your guitar and jam along. And we're going to dive into this. And one final thing, real quick, is I'm going to recommend using a metronome with these. I'm not going to talk about it in this one because I recommend before you jump into using a metronome, just get all of these examples under your fingers at your own natural tempo. Don't worry about the metronome until you have the shapes under your hands. The metronome is like the final phase. Don't worry about that right now. Just get them under your fingers. Alright, so the first thing is you've probably seen this in a couple of different, sweeping tutorials or something like that. I don't think I've ever used this example. Maybe I have. But I actually want to put a little bit of a new spin on it. So the first thing you need to be able to do is to understand what is the sweep picking technique. So we're not even going to worry about notes right now. We're going to talk about just using these dead notes. And I know you've seen this on some other sweeping tutorials. And you're probably like, why in the world would I learn that? This sounds like nothing. And there's actually so much happening right there that you might not even notice it if you're not already familiar with sweep picking. The first thing that you have to do, and what makes this exercise so difficult, is you can't death grip the pick. You have to lightly grip the pick, I've mentioned this before, and let the pick kind of fall through the strings versus pushing it through the strings. When you're descending, you have to pull the pick up, but let gravity do its thing and push its way through the strings. I see so many people tend to sit there and just really force, rake through the strings, and I'm like, man, that makes it really difficult because, sweeping is all about efficiency. And what's more efficient than just letting gravity do its thing? So when you're using open strings, I think they're the hardest to sweep because there's no tension. If you're doing a normal arpeggio, there's tension from you pushing down the string. But without it, it's pretty challenging. So I'm just simply going down, 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 up, 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 down, 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 up, up, up. And I'm just letting my hand mute random places. You'll get different notes. You'll hear. But that's really the first thing you have to be able to do. Try to do that. It's basically, don't view it as 3 individual movements, like down, 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 up, up, up. It's 1 down through 3 strings, 1 up through 3 strings. And get to where you have that kind of mentality in your hands. It's basically that. But that's actually way easier than trying to go slow on an exercise like this. You hear my notes are all evenly spaced out, and I'm also hearing that I have a delay turned on, which should not be there. So that's the first one. Just take your time with that one. I know there's no notes. It's not exactly the most rewarding one, but if anything, apply a lot of this stuff to sweeping. Because one thing you have to understand about sweeping is it's not about speed. It's about the technique. The technique leads to the speed, not the other way around. Don't think that it's speed first, then technique. You gotta learn the technique first, and stuff like this is really where you're kind of carving that path out. I don't wanna update my phone, quit asking me. Alright, now the next thing is a lot of times when you jump into sweep picking, you're thrown into something that is super foreign, these different shapes, arpeggios, and if you are just starting out, odds are you probably know the pentatonic scale, you might know your major scale, but a lot of these shapes are completely new, completely foreign. So what I recommend doing is utilizing shapes that you already know to get into the world of sweep picking. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to use just a good old pentatonic shape, and we're going to work on an economy style of picking, which is essentially sweep picking. So what we're doing is this. So the way you might normally play this is like this. Okay, and I'm just simply playing 5-7 on the D, 5-7 on the G. Now, if you were to alternate pick that, you would go down, up, down, up. So, okay, now that's all alternate picking, and that's probably how most people have learned how to do that. Now, what we're going to use is we're going to use sweep picking or economy picking. Some people don't like to call sweep picking necessarily sweep picking unless it's like across, 3 or 4 strings, but I consider it all the same thing. And what we're going to do is we're going to go like this. Okay, so I don't know why I keep switching pickups. We're going to play 5-7, but we're going to start with an up this time. So you're going to go up, down. Okay, so let's get that. Okay, there's our first little movement. Now we go down to the G, which is also 5-7, but we're going to do another down, followed by an up. Now what happens here that's really, really cool is, for one, like I said, we're utilizing a pattern and a shape that we already know. It's new to our right hand, and this is what we need to focus on. If you're working on a pattern that is new to both hands, well, both of them are like, what's happening right now? Right now we're doing very familiar with our left hand, new with our right hand, which is what we really want to focus on. Okay? So again, what happens when you cycle it though, you end up with 2 downs and 2 ups in a row, and it's a very sweepy kind of motion. So we go up, down, down, up, okay? Then cycle it, up, down, up, down, up. And like I said, boom, now we're starting that sweeping process. And what's cool is, again, you already know your pentatonic scale. Throw this in all of them. Maybe do like 2 strings on the high, the B and the high E string. Watch my hand. I'm doing it all. I'm going. I'm just using shapes. Sorry, I got a little sloppy there. I'm just using shapes that are super comfortable, super familiar with my hands, and I'm not really trying to do anything crazy with it. So just sit there with that one and work on that. Get to where you can do that before anything else. Maybe if you want to move it chromatically at the beginning, oh, maybe. Let's see if I can do it. My fingers wanted to go to the next shape, and I'm like, no, fingers, chromatic. Alright, now that we've done dipped our toes in the world of sweeping, now we're going to introduce one of those new shapes I was talking about. And again, this is just for people if you're not familiar with arpeggios yet. We're going to do an A minor arpeggio, and we're going to start with this. And this was always, to me, the best. The A minor and A major are always, to me, I think the best ones to start with that don't involve rolling your fingers. A major is probably easier, but we're kind of working on the key of A minor, so we're just going to use A minor. Now, this is the shape here, and I wanted you to learn it 2 different ways. So it goes like this. It's 10 on the B, 8 on the high E string, and then 12 on the high E. So watch my picking hand. So again, 10, 8, 12, 10, 8, 12. If you have to, if this feels too weird on your left hand, alternate pick it. Just get the shape under your fingers. And you'll quickly find out how inefficient alternate picking something like this can be, because your pick is always changing. So if you want to sweep it, like what we're going to focus on here, is you're going to go down, down, up. And it always repeats itself. But again, look at how I'm not treating it as 2 separate downs. You watch my hand, it's one motion, one motion, one motion, one motion, the whole time. Like, there's no real difference between me picking through 2 strings and me picking through 1. It's all one motion. I'm not going. I'm going. But again, I'm not death gripping the pick, so my pick is falling through the strings. And if you watch it, my pick kind of bounces. I'm not like I said, gripping it where I'm going to be like. I see a lot of people do that, and that makes sweeping very hard, because you gotta understand, you have to be very relaxed to sweep. You can't be all like tensed out. It's just going to sound like, noise, and your strings are not going to be even, and just, if you really want to get the fluid part of it, you have to be relaxed and just comfortable. So, okay? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do that one the other way. I see a lot of people practice things one direction. Anything you can play one way, you got to do it the other. So we're going to go like this. And you'll notice this one's probably going to be more difficult because it has 2 ups instead of 2 downs in it. So we're going to do the same arpeggio backwards. 12, 8, 10. Now I'm starting with a down this time. I go down, up, up. The reason why I start with a down is so I can have the 2 ups. If I started with an up, and then went down. So I started with up, went down. Look, my pick's moving in the wrong direction. I need to go to this string, but my pick is moving this way. So that's why we're going to go down, up, up. I'm always moving in the right direction. Okay, practice the forward, backwards. And you can see how my notes are all even. You know, my down isn't any faster than my up. And that just, you know, you have to practice that. Up was always more difficult, so I probably am better at doing ascending arpeggios than descending, but that's just because, you know, a lot of times the down comes way more naturally. So there is that idea with that one. Alright, now I'm going to kick it up a notch here. Emerald, does anybody remember Emerald Gossi? Is he still on TV? He probably is. I don't have cable, so I don't know. So basically, we are going to be doing this right here. We're going to do a second A minor arpeggio, and we're going to be combining them. So we're going to go like this. But now that one. Okay, so here's what's happening here. We're going to be going down here, and we're going to go 5 on the B, 5 on the high E string, and 8. So down, down, up. Same picking pattern as the last one. New shape for our left hand. So you see how we're constantly sharing the load of learning this new stuff. It's not like diving in and like our hand has to learn a new shape and this hand has to learn a new technique. I'm always trying to like split it up. If something's new with this hand, I keep this hand the same. If something's new with this hand, I keep this hand. You know, familiar with what I know. So I think that can help a lot. It's like a divide and conquer kind of strategy. Okay, so we have 5, 5, 8. Now I shift up here. I slide. You don't have to slide. This is just sheer habit for me to do this. So down, down, up. Then I go up here and I go 12, 8, 10, which is going to be down, up, up. So down, down, up, down, up, up. And if you notice how, since I end on an up, it sets me up perfectly to go up here on the same string and start with a down, up, up. So I'm constantly, again, moving in the right direction. Okay, so we have that. Now I want you to also do it the other way. So you're going to go 10, 12, 8. Sorry, I'm doing that wrong. 10, 8, 12. And then 8, 5, 5. So now we're going to be going down, down, up, down, up, up. So same thing, but now our hands moving in a different direction. Sometimes just, you know, flipping your ascending and descending can, you know, trip you up a little bit. So down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, up, down, down, up, down, up, up. And that rolling is going to be a nice little challenge there for you. If you're not familiar with that, just work on that. I'm rolling my finger off that. I'm not barring it like this. You don't want all that ring out in there. I'm going to go. You can see how I'm rolling my finger across those strings. And I'm not picking it all the way off the string either. Just enough to deaden that note. You hear it. And the other note's so much louder, it kind of drowns that little bit of a noise out. Okay? Okay, so. Get going as fast as you want with these. Like I said, you know, you can use a metronome. I recommend getting them under your fingers first before you use a metronome, though. Alright, and this is where we're actually going to leave things off with. And like I said, you guys can let me know if you want a part 2, and I will, you know, continue down adding more strings. But so far, everything we've done has been on 2 strings. Now, we are going to actually jump to 4 strings, but we're going to rely on a shape that we've already learned that was on 2 strings. So, again, you can see how I'm introducing new strings to this hand using a pattern that is already established in this hand. So I'm going to use this one again. Okay? But what I'm doing here is I am doing octaves. So I'm going to go. So I'm crossing more strings, again, using a shape I already know. So basically, I'm doubling it. You can do it 4 times, 2 times, 1 time, how many times you want. All the times. You're gonna go 7 on the D and then 5/9 on the G. So again, down, down, up. And I'm gonna do it twice, so. Shifting up now an octave, so it's the exact same notes, just an octave higher. I'm gonna go 10, 8, 12. Again, double it. Then descend it, so 12, 8, 10, down, up, up. Octave, 9, 7, 5. I'm sorry, 9, 5, 7. Still down, up, up. So, like how I missed the note there and just totally rolled with it. I'm like, I completely missed hitting that note. There you go. So I'm trying to play them all fast and slow. I know some people, you know, you see teachers play stuff faster, and some people think it's showing off. It's not. You know, I think as a teacher, it's important to show people, you know, what it sounds like sped up, what it sounds like slow, you know, everything in between. So I'm not trying to show off like, look how fast I can go, because I can go way faster if I wanted to. I'm just kidding about that. That's about as fast as I can go. But like I said, I just want you guys to hear it at a faster tempo and slower tempo. So there you have it, guys. You could, you know, do a lot more with these. Like I said, if you want a part 2, I will, you know, expand on these a little bit more and, you know, establish a little bit more of, you know, an area on the fingerboard. But I think that this is a really, really key area to start with for sweep picking. I'm going to go ahead and get to the jam-a-lam section. And other than that, I'm going to get the tabs, and I will be seeing you all later. I don't know if this will be a weekend lesson or just a normal weekly video, but whatever it is, thank you guys always for watching. If you want to, you can hit that subscribe button, but if not, yo, we cool. We still hanging out. So I'll see you guys later. The cameras are so far away, I can't really high-five anything. Ah!